Hello students, good morning. So welcome to Dbms class. So today we will see about SQL commands. So firstly, what is SQL? SQL is a structured query language. So majorly this SQL is divided into different types of languages, that is DDL, DML, DCL, DQL and TCL commands. Okay, so DDL stands for data definition language, DML is data manipulation language, DCL is data control language, DQL is data query language, TCL is transaction control language. So under these different types of SQL has divided this into different types of languages. So under this each language again we are having a set of commands. So let's see what are the different set of commands that are present in different types of languages. So firstly is the DDL command. So as we have seen before, what is DDL? So here under DDL commands, which stands for data definition language, which mainly deals with the data definition language deals with the structure of the table or the structure of a relation. Under this we are having a commands like create, okay, alter, delete, truncate, and the other command is drop command. So these are what all the different types of commands that are defined under the data definition language. So here data definition language means that the entire structure of the relation can be defined or it can be structured. So here we are using these different types of commands in order to make a relation. Either using a create command, firstly we will create a table using the create command. Okay, and next is what? Alter table. If we are having any changes, like if we want to change the data type, we'll use alter with modify. And if we want to rename the table, we can use alter with rename. And if we want to add a column, you can use alter with add. And also if you want to delete a particular column that is not needed, we can use alter with drop command. And next is what? Delete command. Delete command is used to delete some set of rows that are not required in a given relation. Okay, and next is what? Truncate. If I want to delete all the set of rows at a time, so we are using what? Truncate command. Delete is used to delete a row, row by row we can delete, whereas truncate command is used to delete all rows but in a given relation at a time. So we are calling this as what? Truncate. The main difference between delete and truncate is delete is used to delete a row by row. Deletion can be performed, whereas truncate is used to delete all rows at once. But the table or a relation will exist. Okay. Whereas drop command is also the same like truncate, but here instead of deleting the all the rows, so whatever the rows or records that are present in a given relation, along with this relation will also be deleted in the drop command. So the main difference between truncate and drop is in truncate only these rows or records will only be deleted in the truncate command, whereas in the drop command whatever the relation, for example if we have created a student relation with some attributes called as SID, SNAME, okay, and marks. So here the entire this student relation will also be deleted if I am giving the drop command. Whereas truncate is what? Only the rows, that is example 1, 2, 3. Only these rows if we want to delete we'll use what? Truncate command. If I don't want this table at all, if there is no need of this table further, then I can use what? Drop command. Means what? If I am trying to retrieve this particular student table, that is student relation, if I am giving select star from student, okay, then previously if I perform the drop command, then you will get an error message like the table does not exist. Why? Because we have used a command called as drop command. Clear? So this is what the main meaning of the different commands, that is create, alter, delete, truncate and drop. Now we are going to see with the syntax and examples for each of these commands. So let me go with each and every command with an example. Okay, so firstly we'll go with the create command. So actually what is the create command is, if we want to create a relation, okay, before going to a create command, here we need to know that as we have discussed before, each and every like data will be stored in the form of rows and columns, and we are calling in DBMS storing of this data in the form of rows and columns as an relation, and giving the name for this relation as an relation name. Okay, so this is what a relation name with a set of rows or records with the attributes. We are calling this type of representation as a relational model. So in order to create this type of data using a relational model, we are going to use a create command. So now how to write this create command? So let me write the syntax, then we'll go with an example. So what is the syntax? First to create a is, so what is the syntax to create? Create table, table name, and we will have some attributes list. Either you can take it as an attribute or column name. Column 1 with the data type and it's the size of that particular data type. So how many columns that are required for a given relation, that many columns you are going to add. For example, firstly go with the syntax, that is column 1, column 2, data type, size. Okay. So as per requirement, you are going to add the number of columns data type, and the what should be the size of that particular column. Similarly, here we are going with column 1, column 2, so on up to column n. Okay, so this is how you are going to do the create command. So the next thing is we'll go with an example now, how to create a table. For example, before we have discussed whatever the data that we are trying to store, we are storing in the form of a relational model, and we are giving the name for that relation as some name. Okay. For example, if I want to create this student relation, so what is the student called as here? Relation name. So what is the relation name here? Student. Okay. So what are the attributes that I can take here is, for example, SID, name and age. Okay. So here give some example records as 1, 2, 3. Some name as Ravi, Raju, okay, and something as Sam, and some example you can take here. So this table now I need to create, this student table I need to create. So how to create? Using an create table, table name. So how many columns I need here? 3 columns. According to this student relation, I require 3 columns, that is SID, name and age. So according to this table structure, now here we are going to create a table. So before going directly to create command, we need to know what is this. This is called as a student relation, and these are called as what? Rows. As we have discussed before, they can be called as rows, records or tuples, and these can be called as what? Attributes, okay, columns or fields. Okay, so here we are taking a relation called as student relation. In that student relation, we are having 3 different columns or attributes called as SID, name and age, and we are having 3 records with SID as 1, 2, 3. Now in order to create this table, you are using a create command. So here we will see how to write the create command now. Okay, so the general syntax here, the keywords that are already available is create, table is already available keyword. So what is the table name here? The table name that I want to create, that is what? A student table. So I am taking the student name as student as a table name. Okay. And after taking this create table, table name, what are the list of columns that are required that I need to add? For example, first column is what? SID is my first column. Okay. So here I have taken integer type. Either you can take the data type as either integer or varchar. Integer will allow only the numeric values, so that is number values that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 11, 12, 13, 14. Varchar is a combination of both the alphabets and the numbers, like your roll number. If there is a combination of alphabets and numbers, then you can use a varchar data type. So for this example, as we have taken only integer data types, you can take here column name as SID, data type as integer data type, and the length of this particular SID. Example, we can take it as 20. So you can define according to your need and purpose here the size of that particular column. And next column is what? First column we have completed, and the next is what? S name. So what can be the data type of S name? Nothing but a student name will be always a character data type. So the data type of this S name will be char. And length, at least you can specify it as example 25, because names can be something like lengthy. So that's the reason we have taken the length as example 25. And the next column is what? Age column. Okay. Age is always an integer data type, that is it can be in the form of 1, 2, so 20, 30, 40. Okay. And the maximum age limit is 3. Why we are taking only 3? Because it can be taken as for example 100 or like that. Okay. So this is how we have created a simple table called as a student table. Okay, with the different columns, that is SID, S name and age. Clear? So this is how the first DDL command works, that is create command. So these inserting of all these rows will comes under again the DML commands. Okay. So let me classify here. Firstly, we have seen what is DDL command. So in this DDL, you will have create, alter, drop, truncate, and the delete commands. So these are the set of commands that works with the DDL commands. And next is what? DML commands. DML commands means data manipulation language. So if you are performing some changes to the given data, then we are calling it as an data manipulation language. So actually delete works here. Insert, delete, update are the commands under DML. So here you can use another command called as rename. Okay. So after creating the table, if I want to insert the values into the table, with this command, only the structure of the table, that is the structure, that is the student structure table is defined with SID, SNAME and age. Okay, only this up to this structure it is created. Now if I want to insert the rows into this particular table, now I need to use a DML command, that is insert command. So if I want to get this structure of this table, I can use a command called as describe table name, that is student. DESC defines what? The structure of the table or the structure of a relation can be checked using a command called as DESC, nothing but describe table name, which gives you this structure of the student. Means what are the columns that are present in that particular relation, what is the data type that we have used, and what is the size of each data type. So all those can be viewed using what? A describe command, that using a syntax called as describe student semicolon. Clear? Now after getting this create command and getting the structure of this table or a relation, now what we need to do? We need to insert these rows into that particular table. So how to insert these rows into the table? Using an insert command, that is from the DML command, that is data manipulation language. Okay, so before going like in depth into the insert commands, let's see what are the different commands that are available at different languages. So under DQL, that is data query language. Query is nothing but the question that you want to ask, or if you want to retrieve some particular data from a given relation, we are using what? DQL command, that is data query language. In that, like in SQL, we are going to use what select command to get the entire relation data. Okay, and next is what data control language. So in this data control language, you will have grant and revoke. These are what the permissions to be given to an user in order to edit a particular table, or in order to make some changes to an table. So persons whoever are available will not be allowed to make some changes. If it is an important thing, then at that time it is not safe, like every person can enter into that particular table. Okay, only authorized people should be given the grant access. So those permissions, access control permissions, can be controlled using grant and revoke permissions. Grant is to give the permission to a particular user so that he can modify any changes, or he can do any changes to a given relation. Revoke is to take back all the permissions, that is whatever the permissions that you have given to a particular user. So all those permissions can be retrieved back using an revoke permission. Next is what transaction control language. In this transaction control language, we are having commit, rollback, and save point. So if I want to make changes, updated changes up to whatever the changes that I have made, if I want to make it as finalized, then I can use what, a commit command. Rollback is to, if I want to go back again, if I want to roll back, if I have deleted some rows. For example, by mistake, if I have deleted all the rows, if I want to retrieve back all those rows, then I can use what, rollback command. Okay, so that using a rollback, I can get back all the deleted records also. Save point is like up to whatever the content that we have, whatever the queries up to where we have written, we are giving a save point, then to that extent it will be saved. So these are what all the SQL commands that comes under the total structured query language. DDL commands defines only the structure. In that we are having the set of commands. DML mainly it deals with insert, update, delete, because if there is any changes that are made to a particular relation, then we are calling it as a data manipulation language. Okay, the word itself says that manipulation. If there are any changes, then what are the changes that can be done using the commands, that is insert, update, and delete. So whatever the query that whatever the relation that we have created and the rows we have inserted, everything is done. Now how to retrieve that entire table? Okay, if we have created, inserted, all the operations have done, but if I want to get this table structure, how I should get? Using a command called as dql command, that is the select command. Okay, so for each and every command you will have a syntax. Okay, and you will have an example here. Clear? So now we have seen up to here the creation of the table. Okay, and what is the purpose of each and every command under different set of languages. Okay, now we are going to use the insert command to insert the rows into this relation. Clear? Now let me go with the insert command. After creating, now you need to insert the values into the table. So how to insert the values into this table? Using an insert command that comes under DML language, that is data manipulation language. Okay, so it can be any number of rows and columns that can be inserted into a given relation. Okay, and whenever it is possible, you can modify the table structure or table data by using what, alter with the drop command, alter with the delete command, alter with the rename, and alter with modify. Okay, now let's see, after creating the table, how to insert the values into the table. So what is the syntax to insert the table is, so actually we are having different set of syntaxes actually. Using create itself only, we can also insert the values, that is one type of declaration. Whereas other type of declaration is like firstly creating the table, then inserting the values. And the next thing is for inserting also, either you can write the same command multiple times in order to insert, or again this is one more thing, where you can easy way to write inserting all the fields at a time. Okay, so firstly write the syntax as insert into table name, values. Values in this, if you are having column 1 value, column 2 value, column 3 value, etc., so on. Okay, so you are entering for column 1 value, column 2, like if you are having 3 columns, you are entering the data, inserting the data for 3 columns. Like that, how many columns that are available according to your create query, that many column data you are inserting using an insert command. Clear? Now after this is what entering of first row in a given relation. Okay. If I want to insert the second row, okay. Now again I need to separate this with the second row. This means what? Inserting into table name values. Okay. First SID will be 1, S name will be something as Ravi, S age will be 22. With this the first row is inserted. This row is inserted. Now again I need to insert this row. So if I want to insert the next row, separate it with the comma separator, and now again say enter the second row values, that is column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, after completing the second row also, if I want to insert one more row, then I can use again a comma separator, column 1, column 2, column 3 values, comma, and the next row, so on, up to how many rows that you want to insert, up to that many rows you can insert, and end with a semicolon. Clear? Now let me take this example. So how to insert the values into this student relation. So here how to insert into the student relation is, after ending of the each and every column. Now after completing all the columns, you can end with what? Semicolon. In SQL you need to end each and every column with a semicolon. Use like syntax with semicolon. Now tell me how to write here. Insert is into tab. Insert into is already the command that all predefined. Insert into, what is my table name? This is the table name that we have used before creating the student. Okay, this student create table was already created, so that same table name we need to take here. So insert into, what is my table name? That is student. Okay, insert into table name values. Values is also again a word keyword that we will use default. Okay, and there will not be any space between values and bracket. Okay, now insert into table name, that is the student table that we have already taken values. Now I need to insert this first row. So how can I insert this first row? As per create command we have already seen, first row is an integer data type, that is 1. So for a character data type we need to use single quotes or double quotes mandatorily, because as we seen in other programming languages also, for any character data type we need to use either single quotes or double quotes while inserting the values. So here insert into table name, that is student values. This is what the first row of my student table, this one. Okay, now if I want to enter the second row, separate it with the comma. Now again start the second row values, that is 2 comma Raju, name of the person, and next is age of that particular person. Second row completed with 3 columns. Okay, now again separate it with comma. Now start the third row, that is 3 comma Sam, and age is 24. Now for example, all the rows have been completed. After completing, this is the first row of the student relation, this is the second row of the student relation, this is the third row of the student relation. After inserting all the rows into the student relation, end with a semicolon. Clear? So this is how we are going to insert the values into the student relation. Firstly, we have created the student relation with fields SID, SNAME, age using create command. After completing that, we have seen the describe student, which gives you the entire structure of the relation with the data type, column, data type and size. After completing that, you have seen with how to insert the rows into this particular relation, that is student relation, using an insert command. Okay, till now it is clear. Now what is the next thing is, we have completed the creating and inserting. Now how to get this table? So how I should get this table now? Already we have seen that a DQL command helps you to query language is nothing but like if you are performing if you want to retrieve the data of that particular relation using what? A DQL command, that is the select command. Select is used to display the entire table structure or the entire table data. Okay. After completing create and insert values, use the DQL command, that is the select command. So what is the syntax for select command is select star from table name. So what is my table name here? Student. Okay. So I need to use a command called as select star from student, which gives you, this command will give you the entire, so this command will give you the entire this table with all the details. Clear? So here the star represents what? All column values. Star represents all column values. So all the values can be retrieved from the student relation using select star from table name. So this is how we are going to use different commands, that is create, insert and DQL command, that is select. Okay. So similarly we can go with the other commands, that is delete, drop, truncate and alter with a different set of commands. So here, if I want to firstly to do this MySQL, you need to go to MySQL, okay, and just type the password that is given. After, before creating all these tables, you need to what? First create a database using a command called as create database name. So the database name and the table name should not be same. You should remember one point, that the table name and the database name should be always different. So create database name example as take some example as a DBMS as a database name. Okay, after creating the database, now you need to use the database name, that is use DBMS using of your database. Now after creating the database only, you can create what? Tables. So whatever the tables that we have created before, those tables can be created after performing these commands only in MySQL. Firstly is to create the database using a create command, create database name. So example database name, you can take any database name, but you have to ensure that the database name and the table name should not be same. Okay. After creating the database, you need to use your database. Why? Because there may be like a many number of databases that will be available in MySQL. So among all the different databases, you need to create your own tables in your own database. So for that purpose, we are using what? Use database name, that is use DBMS, which means what? For example, you can create with your own roll number as a database name. Okay, after creating with your own data roll number with your database name, you have to use your database name. Means what? After using your database, now whatever the tables and whatever the things that you are creating will be available in your database. So for the further purpose, if you want to get the data from your particular, if you want to get the information about the tables or whatever the commands that you have done, you can just quickly review all those tables and details using what? Your database name. If you enter into your database, all the commands that you have created till now can be viewed, or the tables that you have created can be viewed directly. So this is what about DDL commands, DML commands. Okay, so only a part of the DDL command and DML commands is completed. For example, if I want to delete a particular row, now using what? Delete comes under command called as data manipulation language. Yes, so if I want to delete one particular row, so how to delete a particular row? Syntax to delete is what? Delete star from table name. So delete start from table name deletes all the rows at a time. So if I don't want to delete, I need to give some other thing here. Okay. So for example, actually delete command is delete star from table name, which is used to delete all the rows in that particular table. For example, if I am giving delete star from student. What is the table name here? That is student table. So if I am giving here student, delete start from student, all the rows that we have till now, whatever the rows that we have updated with that particular records, all will be deleted. For example, if I want to delete only the first row, then I have to specify the condition as delete from table name. So where is the clause that is used if we want to specify some condition? Delete from table name where SID equals to 1, which means only the first row from that student relation will be deleted. Only one particular, if we want to delete only one particular row, then we are using delete with where class. If I want to delete all the rows, I can use delete start from table name. So this is how the delete command works. So the remaining commands, let's see in the upcoming class. Thank you.